Awesome. All right. So this is eventually going to get probably edited down into a video that I'll probably change, put background music to, and trim down. But I see a lot of new players come into Arknights and make the same mistakes and ask the same questions. And I'm going to be skipping all the story in this, and this is just to capture footage, so it doesn't really matter if people come in here right now or not. Because I anticipate that if I turn this into a normal video, not a stream, it will do a lot better because I can post it on places when people ask questions, or I can cut it up into little bits. But I wanted to make a new account just so that I could go through
Let's begin.
all of the elements from the standpoint of not using like an endgame player account or any of that, just to show that the basics are universal, and also so that people can, when I explain what I'm doing or the logic behind things, it will make sense to players of literally any level, including brand new players, because I'll be able to demonstrate something from exactly the same type of perspective that they would see. I'm not going to do any re-rolls. I can easily demonstrate that rarity matters, but not as much as people think, and all that kind of stuff. So I do have to make it through these tutorials, which will be a little brutal. Definitely going to skip all the story because this isn't really meant to cover spoilers and story. I will go eventually one of these days when I find the time and get some editing software and familiarize with it. I do want to do a lore accurate clear of anything that's kind of like a key stage, so that I can basically build a Arknights story that's in game and lore accurate. And the purpose of that is just because there's a number of lore channels that have existed, and I think that there isn't really anything that kind of takes the Arknight story and distills it down into like a brief digestible form, but still captures all of the kind of nuance. So that's something that I think would be really cool to do. I really liked Kaiser's videos in the past about just lore, random lore, whatever, operator stuff, event timelines, and but the one thing is that it was always just random, gameplay video that he would recycle in the background, and I thought it would be cool to do something that was that people could kind of follow along like episodically, and would be like a stage like this but edited, where I could put in the characters popping in with their character sprites. It would be cool if I could do voiced, but I have zero budget. I'm not going to try and voice every character. So that's something I've thought about, like how I would want to do that. I could do it with very simple text that doesn't complete every single word, or I could do like AI voices or something like that. I'm not sure. I could also do something where later I
awaiting order. Cut them to pieces.
Edit the
Thunderstorm.
edit the audio and make it cooler down the road. That's a possibility too, but we'll just see. These are just pet projects that interest me for my own entertainment more than anything else. Skip. Spoiler free. Alright. So you don't really have a lot of control in the first few stages. This is fine. So on the first banner that's shown, there's a lot of mixed stuff. The newbie banner is the most efficient, because this price right here is the cheapest you'll ever get for 10 pulls with a rundum. and the banner kind of lasts forever. Some people save this for a while. Some people will say, oh, you should roll on a limited banner and get this. I actually think that playing Arknights to try and get any particular operator, particularly as a new player, is not especially efficient. It doesn't really matter who you get. A lot of people think that it does. It does not. What matters is how long you've played the game, and not really anything more than that. The longer you play the game, the more you get of everything, and it's a game of big numbers. It's not like Genshin where one character is gonna completely define your account if you get them. That's not really a thing, even if people try to make it a thing. So we'll just follow along with what they want. Perfumer is fine. I won't get too much into the nuance of every potential operator you can get, but I will talk about if I build someone why. And Perfumer can literally last us like until the end game. How much of this am I actually forced to do? It's been so long since I've ever gone through all of the tutorial stuff. Alright, so it takes us into this, and I can't even select my squad. Cool. No story. And we go in. Yeah, we're gonna skip that. Alright, so even on this stage, I see players make some really fundamental mistakes because they won't understand what any of the symbols mean and stuff like that, and that's fine. But the most important things that players are going to want to know right off the bat is block count for ground units and attack values. And I won't get too much into scaling. I'm sure I'll do a video on damage and scaling and why stats matter more for some archetypes than others. But a lot of players will do something like they'll place like a defender in front of their DPS, and then they won't have any DPS. And I know that when I say it like that, it sounds so obvious, but you will literally see it a million times. So this guy, he has 3 block, and he's a defender. He doesn't have a ton of attack. Actually, he might have more than Yato right now, which is a bit surprising. But Yato has a lower block count, and so it makes more sense to put Yato in front of this guy, even if he does more damage, because enemies are going to go through her faster than him. You're not going to want her to be behind him, because even if he does more damage, enemies that get through are going to be taking less damage. Then they're going to stack up on the back end and have a higher chance of leaking. That is a mistake I see new players make constantly. And so Rangers here is just, he has a relatively fast attack. He's just going to do damage to the entire range here, and all of the enemies are going to stack up on him. I probably don't even need to place anyone else. But if I did, the smartest thing would be to put Yato here, and to put a caster in a location like this that covers the whole area, and then to put a healer somewhere that also covers the whole area. Now, I can't cover everyone with this healer, but I do want to briefly mention that based on the deployment order that I had here, if an enemy can target any of my characters, they're going to prioritize Amiya. Then they'll become blocked by Yato and attack her in that order because of the deployment order that I did here. So if I had to choose between healing Amiya and healing Rangers in this setup, I could leave Rangers completely alone, and chances are he won't get killed because nothing will target him. They'll target Amiya. So that was overkill. Like I said, I could have done it with just the blocker and Rangers, and that's it. That's all I really needed. And that'll become clear as I progress through some of these stages. I'm not really going to need a lot of levels. I'm not going to need a lot of rarity. These pinboard missions are really good because if you complete them, you get a Texas. Texas is one of the best operators in the game, quite frankly. She's been that way for a long time. A lot of people don't even realize how good she is. She is one of the most frequently used operators in endgame content like max risk. If you go through and just look at screenshots of people doing max risk, the victory screen, you'll see Texas probably in over half of them. And I can't choose the squad again. Oh, it's a training stage. Alright, I've seen a lot of people make mistakes on this stage, which is kind of insane. So, obviously, this stage you can see there's like, if I deploy a blocker here, enemies can slip through this way. If I deploy a blocker here, or here, or here, they can actually slip by. So it's one of those things where if you look at how they path, right? If I put here, because of how they path, it will block them all the time. But if there's any that later path differently, placing here won't block them. I'm not going to take that risk because I don't have this memorized. I can actually place Yato here or here, and you get 100% coverage. You don't have the risk of if I play her here and then an enemy just waltzes right past them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that, and then we want maximum range coverage, which could either be here or it could be here. But then we're missing this square versus this square. So either way, there's a trade-off. This actually gives us full coverage and overlapping damage. That's what we're going to go for, even though I have slightly less optimized range in this position. But you always want, if possible, to have overlapping DPS, so where Yato can attack, and since the enemies are pathing this way, I placed her that way because that's a known route. Rangers is going to completely overlap with her DPS, which maximizes Yato's health pool effectively. So now I have a healer, I can be a little less efficient with that, but these things still matter. So we can place her here, which has 100% coverage. I can actually place her up here with 100% coverage, and it leaves me with extra spots if I had other operators to deploy that were DPSs. On super easy stages like this, stuff like that won't matter. Arknights has a bit of a reputation for being like a Souls game. So, it matters. It just doesn't matter yet. And again, if you ever watch new players play this game, you will see just the craziest kind of mistakes that I'm specifically bringing up here. That's fine. And again, I won't necessarily go over what they're saying in the tutorials because I can specifically talk about what's happening. These are just new player login reward stuff that, you know, won't be there forever, but it doesn't expire. What's the is there? Oh, sweet. And then what did they give you in here? All kinds of stuff. We will use the vouchers pretty immediately. And this doesn't matter. Okay. And that. Sweet. Do I have recruitment yet? Oh, boo. Alright. So we will get back to it. I don't think I can level anyone, can I? I don't care. Oh, I can. So, I will eventually talk about like the logic behind leveling. I am going to level Amiya because I'm not worried about wasting resources on her at all. She is not really an optimal caster until you get her to E2, because these question marks, if you see right here, this is her talent, and she does not have a talent until E2, which really sucks. But her talent at E2 is actually very, very, very good, and it makes the skills that she gets like if I promote her once, this skill right here is very inefficient. It takes 100 seconds to charge, essentially, and the damage that you get out of it for how long you have to wait to get it is incredibly inefficient. However, her talent gives her a crazy amount of SP creation. It charges her skill with every hit and every kill, and it gets boosted with upgrades. So there's a number of upgrades in the game through potentials that improve her talent, and also the module at E2. And when you combine sort of all of those things together, she can actually charge her skill efficiently, and her damage becomes comparable. It's actually about 20% higher than one of the meta casters, which is Aya. However, Aya has other mechanics which in general make people prefer her. But she's also required for some story stuff later on, so I can pretty much put whatever levels I want in her without concern at this stage in the game. So moving right along. I don't need hibiscus at all because I have a perfumer. But it's nice to have a healer with a little bit longer range. When they get E1, it'll be quite drastic. Again, not going to do any of the story. So, we are going to maximize our choke points, which theoretically, like, I could place here, but if you're actually looking at the way this map is, I could place Defender all the way here. In general, I won't. And the reason for that is because it gives you not a lot of room to deal with enemies leaking on stages that are difficult. So it kind of makes more sense to give yourself like some reaction space there. And the other thing I should mention is you notice how I didn't place him up here. When I place a ranged unit here, this tile is covered by their range. If I place him up one, I'm actually, in a way, I'm losing this tile of range. So I am not making the absolute optimal use of a ranged operator's attack range. Which actually I'm going to put Amia here because she has the levels. And we'll do a Rangers here. Oh, she can't reach. That's fine. She can. And that's the stage complete. Which again, these stages are easy. People can fail them, even new players, but it's pretty uncommon. Usually what you'll see is new players will go into these stages, they'll make really, really bad positions, they'll get away with the really, really bad positions, and then later on when it matters, they'll get their teeth kicked in because they were able to get away with really, really bad positions when it didn't matter. Recruitment. That's actually really convenient. We want a Myrtle, if at all possible. Which I cannot guarantee. But we'll see. We can try and get lucky. Defense and slow doesn't do anything. DP, yeah. Guard, medic, melee, AoE, DP. I could get like a Papacar or something, but I think we can either just try an RNG, a Myrtle with brute force because there's no guarantee, or I could go for an Ansel. Stick with the Myrtle. Yeah, that'll be fine. But do I have enough for a 10 pull? If I do, we'll blow that right away. Oh, we do. Awesome. I don't think it's worth waiting on these because you're guaranteed a 6-star, and I got Arquetto, who's great. I am not. It does not matter to me who I get. I think some players are used to gachas where they re-roll to try to get some optimal pick. I think that's a waste of time in Arknights. We're absolutely going to use Arketo, but for every player it won't be the same. But I also wanted to get some other operators because it will determine who I put early game resources in and why, and allow me to discuss why that matters. So, we are definitely going to be raising Kuora. I'm going to completely skip Beagle. Myrrh, that's an interesting choice. Do I want to raise Myrrh? I probably will not. I'll probably stick to Perfumer and Ansel when I get an Ansel. But we will definitely do Arketo. Arketo is convenient. Directed aim. Do I even know what this tutorial is teaching? Not yet. They're going to give me an op at some point, but I only see one deployable spot. Yeah. Check his information. Okay, whatever. Yep.
Okay.
And that's probably all they have me do. Are they just talking about field, like, ranges?
Let the hunt begin.
I guess so. Very basic. I'm not a big fan of Adnakiel because Cruz is just infinitely better. You do need to have more than one sniper, but you get Jessica, and Jessica is also way better than Adnakiel. Easy day. We will make some adjustment here, actually. Do we have a real Vanguard? No, we don't. I will stick to those two. Rangers is I guess I won't cover that yet. We definitely want these two. We want Kuora. I will take Gitano. I definitely want Stewart. 100% want Cruz. Myrrh is better than Hibiscus. At level 1 with no skill upgrades. I guess we'll do it that way. Take Beagle. This is going to change as I get other operators, but with zero investment, this will do for now. Goals right now are to get Myrtle and to get Ansel. And that's probably game set. We'll be extra sure, you know, we'll, can I... I'm not used to, E0 ranges. So Kuora is like extremely tanky. She's literally one of the tankiest ops in the game, but her attack is one of the worst in the game. So she's a good early game pick. Most players kind of replace her eventually with somebody that can deal some better damage. Oh, I should add also, the marksmans, they preference drones, and it's very important for new players to always make sure they have, in general, 2 marksmen, or 2 archers at least, and always 1 marksman in their squad no matter what. I suggest having 2 marksmen for new players 100% of the time. And again, this tutorial we get Jessica guaranteed, so everyone will get a Jessica, and I think Cruz is guaranteed it as well, even if she's not. You literally can't not get her as a 3-star, so it's yeah, it's basically guaranteed that you get a Cruz and Jessica, and they can carry you for a very, very long time. Rangers is kind of pointless to rely on, but he's incredibly cheap to max out because he has no skill and gets his talent upgrade at level 30. But that doesn't mean I think people should raise him necessarily. If you're an endgame player, you'll probably raise all of your 2-stars just to have them for integrated strategies or whatever, but yeah, didn't even need a healer.
ドクターってあなたのことでしょうか。はじめまして。
The problem with 2-stars is that they don't have a skill, and I can probably briefly demonstrate what that means. That's great. They're gonna kind of talk about what I already mentioned. We have a sniper. But 2-stars, they don't have any skill at all. And 3-stars do have a skill. And operators are at their strongest when they have their skill in effect. And so Rangers relies completely on this talent, which unlocks at level 30, which gives them some bonus damage against aerial units, which is useful, but because he can only go up to level 30, his attack is severely limited, and Cruz will completely overshadow his damage just from raw stats before you take her talent into account at E1 or skill and skill upgrades. So between those two things, 2-stars are kind of a poor investment most of the time early game, unless it unlocks a base skill, which we'll go over later.
Hi, Doctor. 出発します。
Skip that. So again, choke point here, but you notice how 1 square back, like I said, that 1 square back is still a choke point, and that's generally where you want to put your defender. And we want to get this out as quickly as possible because her damage sucks, and we can also see a drone spawn point there. So we want our marksmen to be where they're going to have the best shot at the drones. Get some arts damage out. Maybe that way? I probably won't need it like that, but...
作戦を始めるぞ。
I do briefly want to mention, though, there is one weakness of deploying a defender first, which is that enemies, if they can, they won't preference targeting. They won't preference targeting the blocker. And so, typically, what you'd want is to have a vanguard that can generate DP, so that you can get your other units out, and then you place your defender last, so that units target them. But I don't have a real vanguard. I have Yato, who behaves more like a fast redeploy. I do absolutely recommend actually leveling Yato to 30, though. She's one of the exceptions to the 2-star. Her utility far outweighs her rarity. What do they want me to do? Previous records? Oh, they're just gonna show me information. Yeah. Trust, of course. Levels. We're gonna put these levels into someone else. Arketo again, our 6-star. Always safe to level your 6-star. So we will do that. And I can toss some levels in someone else. Tank. I might put some levels into the tank. Also, for now, a safe level. I can also safely level anyone that has a valuable Rick skill at E1. But that's, I don't even have the base yet, so that won't matter. Alright, back to going through. We get Fang. I wonder what the purpose of this tutorial is. I don't even know yet. We're just from the same class, different... Oh, are they going to talk about generating DP finally?
Understood. Keep your guard up.
Yep. Can I skip that? I can't skip that.
Leave it to us.
I don't even think there's anything I can do in this. It's going to be an auto skill.
Everyone, follow
I have nothing to spend the DP on. And that's it. Okay. Well, I finally get some vanguards. That is the important thing.
Like a
That's
wave
what I
crashing
needed.
against an immovable stone, isn't it?
Some DP generation. Yep, yeah, that's great. We are 100% going to take a Vanguard. Who am I going to replace? Probably Noir Corn. Noir Corn is good for new players to have in their squad if they don't know who else to take, because if nothing else, he's great to drop as a panic blocker because he blocks 3 units. But it doesn't really work if you don't have any DPS to cover where you deploy him. That is a huge problem. So I deployed Fang first because now I have Vanguard that makes DP. Normally I would want to block the blue box. The reason why I'm not is because I want to put a higher block unit here, and so I don't want my Vanguard to be somewhere where I have to remove them in order to have a more optimal position, and I don't want to put my blocker in front of them so that they can't deal their damage, and I'm relying on the blocker to deal that damage instead. You don't want to do that. Probably best off with that. I don't have these stages memorized. A drone's going to come from here. I could put a marksman here facing this way and cover these tiles and these two as well, which is not a bad idea. I'm just trying to think if down is more efficient. Actually, that might actually be the most efficient. Yeah, we'll do it that way. And we'll do... Alright, you know what? Maybe we'll just use... I'll do it that way for now. Cora back here. Do that. Oh, we don't have anyone there yet.
解しまし
Do
た。
that.
ちゃんと狙って投げ
Should
ない
help
と
with the pressure.
弓を引いて狙いを定めて。
I'll save up some deep. Oh, there's no red box down here. I was like preparing for something that didn't even exist in the stage. I don't know what I was thinking. I was being unnecessarily cautious.
以前はラテラーの護衛隊に所属しておりました。敵を殲滅、干渉す。
Alright, on to... Here we go. This is what I was talking about, where there's... Is that a red box? That is a red box. 2 lanes. Do I want Plume? I do want her. We're gonna replace... Stewart.
準備を。
And I don't need Yato. I will keep Stewart.
カーディ、空気を読んだ行動を
2
頼んだよ。
marksmen, 1, 2. Oh, I don't actually. Katano is overkill. Jessica will be better than Katano. Okay. Well, no, early stages. We'll keep Katano for now.
この作戦の行く末を
What
占
we
う
really
の。
want is like a lava just for the lower cost right now, but we'll get her eventually. Shiryuki. I don't really want a Shiryuki, but that's fine.
はい、ドクター。出発し
Yep.
ます。
Like I said, now we got 2 lanes. So we're gonna want our vanguards out.
私たちにお任せください。
Both of them.
承知しております。
And I don't know which one's gonna be busier. No idea. But... you do that. Am I going to need a defender here? No, not yet.
うんうん。聞いてるよ。気をつけな。現には3つの選択が。敵には3種の訓貫く。
So she has more damage. We'll put Beagle there. The turtle there.
大丈夫。治ります。なんでしょう。ラテラーノの栄光を背負って戦います。
And that should be all we need for this stage. I'm actually like out of deployment slots, so we'd be in trouble if we needed more, to be honest.
受け取ってください。
No story spoilers.
完璧な勝利だ。みんな、お疲れ
Alright.
様。
Let's see. Durin.
おかえり、ドクタ
What do
ー。
they want us to do? Are they going to cover skills? They are going to cover skills. I have no mats, but I can upgrade skills one time. Well, I know exactly who I'm going to upgrade. That is reasonably obvious. Man, I need a Myrtle. Fang or... No, we want Cruz. Ooh. I'll eventually have materials. What do we get? Leveling mats. We will level Cruz to 20.
ありがとう。
We will level Perfumer's gonna probably be around for a while. Well, I could get a Telopsis right now, or a Warfarin, but we won't. We will level a Perfumer for now.
成果の確認よろしくね。
It definitely helps to have... How many levels do I have? Probably not much. Oh, I do have a little bit. Okay.
ご指導ありがとうございます。
Fang and Plume. That's fine. I won't put too much into Plume probably because what I actually want is a Vigna. I want a Vigna and a Myrtle. That's the goal, but I don't have that yet. And I'm not terribly concerned about E0 levels yet. Jessica's definitely going to get leveled as well. 8, sure,
個人
whatever.
訓練よりもこういうやり方の方がはかどりそうですね。
Sweet. I do want to say a mistake that a lot of players make, like a freakish amount, is not leveling skills. Skills actually matter more than the raw stats. In the early game, it doesn't really feel like that, but like long-term skills, like they massively outpace impact of stats. Early game stats matter a lot simply by virtue of like how low the base stats are, and the amount of growth you get from them feels pretty tremendous. But a lot of players, they put a bunch of levels in their operators, and then their skills are not upgraded like at all. And that's just crazy. I don't think I can I? Yeah, I was gonna say I can't do anything with that yet. So, a very, very common mistake that new players make: overvaluing levels, undervaluing skills. Oh man. What even is this tutorial for? Arts damage? I have no idea. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I know what I'm doing. Famous last words. Heavy armor. Yeah, it's going to be about arts damage. Do you remember how I was telling you about optimizing positions? Right. That's why I said to put the caster up there and not in this spot, because if I need to place another ranged unit, I have a room in this spot.
What a pain.
And you generally, the longer the range an operator has, the more you want to optimize their range. If a character has relatively short range, which there's not a huge difference right now between these two, but you'll see later on. If you have like a splash caster and they have this box-shaped range versus like a artilleryman who has like a huge range, you're going to want to maximize the range of the artilleryman, and if you have to sacrifice the range of your splash caster and they can only cover a few tiles, you're sacrificing much less. So if I had to choose who to prioritize positioning-wise for the most efficient range DPS position, I'm going to go with whoever covers the most range, having the more efficient position.
おーいおーい聞こえますか。皆さんが無事であることが私にとって一番の励ましになります。
Hey, choke points 101. Support unit, sure. A mud rock. That's one way to trivialize a stage. E0 mud rock though, that's less. Who's good at E0? We want someone like Enos. Hell yeah, give me my E0 Enos. This will be trivial. I wonder if Enos can solo this.
あいつらもう二度と
So Enos has like a bit of range, and in general, it's always good to position operators like Enos who aren't going to be necessarily who you want to tank in positions where later on you can put someone in front of them if you plan on keeping them on the board. So in this case, I have a spot to put a defender, and that doesn't really impact her ability to attack things, and that's probably the stage complete right there. Let's see if I even need anyone else. Probably not. Even an E0 maxed out Inez, this will just completely destroy everything.
Nothing can mask the scent of despair. Better watch your step.
Oh, I might need a caster. No, don't need a caster. Look at that. Freaking Giga Chad Inez. She's so freaking strong.
You can't hide your fear.
This doesn't look impressive and strong yet, but trust me, she's strong. No story. Friend request! Oh wait, no, that's because I borrowed someone. Sure, why not? Whatever. Rangers. Or no, that's 12F.
わかったよ。
What's this tutorial about? Face swarms of enemies. Oh, this is about mobbing. Yup. Roger that. Oh no, single target. Can't handle large groups. Whatever shall we do? This is a tutorial that does not generally age very well. We are going to...
目標地点に到着しました。
his range. I guess that's as optimal as it's gonna be. It might have even been better to put her back one more, but whatever. I doubt this will fail. You just want to avoid putting her up one more tile, like I said, losing that spot. Because like I said, that just little bit of extra distance, it can be the difference between leaking and not leaking, or death and not death. Maybe not on easy stages or when you're massively over-leveled, but trust me, I'm a doctor. Lava. We want lava. This is a good thing. Because 12F is actually trash. They're gonna say, you have to bring 12F. We have Gitano. We don't have to bring 12F. But we will bring 12F just because he's cheaper. Ooh. Or will we? Now I'm questioning my decision. Now we'll do Gitano. Screw 12F. Alright. Oh, yeah. I don't need no stinking tutorial. Because I have vanguards. So in this case, I am going to put a defender right next to the blue box. Only because the position of this shape, I'm not going to put them here because I actually want to have that gap there because there's range tiles that I'm going to be utilizing. And these vanguards are, like I said, to generate DP. And so what we really want is to maximize the area we have for overlapping damage. We're going to do that like this. And then I have 3 left. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. I don't think I need anything else, but we will put a Gitano out. I can either do that, or, in theory, I could do that, because, or it would probably be better to do it that way, because Plume has higher attack and only blocks 1. So those are our options, if we want her to get healing. So again, Splash Caster, there's more likely to be enemies here, because of 2 block versus 1 block. And Plume has higher attack,
準備完了
like pretty substantially higher attack, especially if we level these ops and give them skills. She has a DP skill, she has a damage skill, so she's more likely to kill this without needing the extra help.
ラバ術師だ暇でしょうがなかったからなんとなくここに来た敵を一人残らず倒すことができましたロドスのみんなはやっぱり最高です
Basically the same stage again. Sweet. Neural.
行動を開始する雪嵐のごとく天井で吹雪いて
We're literally going to do the exact same thing.
私たちにお任せくださいオラオラ
Oh, except we reversed the vanguards, but that doesn't matter.
貫く
Does not matter.
狙いを定めて放つ気をつけなきゃ弓を引いてこの槍に全てをかけて我が信念を貫く
We can use this AoE
承
up.
知した
Cover the whole range.
大丈夫治りますここが僕のホームだよ
Oh, am I overwhelmed? Oh man. You actually do need the Splashcaster. Do I need 2 AoEs in this? Holy cow. I can't believe it.
ごめん次はもっと頑張るから
So, we will have to use our Splashcaster.
みんな行きますよ敵が来ます皆さん戦闘の準備をしてください各自配置につけおバカさんたち僕が相手だよ貫く承知したカードを引くがよい私の目をごまかせると思うな貫く
Oh man.
無駄無駄
Did not get a healer out quick enough.
気をつけなきゃ用意してよちゃんと狙って投げないと
So,
目標地点に到着します
we need damage. Jesus. I am feeling the crunch already.
聞いてるよ
What I really want is another AoE out there.
大丈夫
But, no, it's probably good enough. We got our skills up. I am impressed by...
ここにい
It came out swinging pretty hard right off the bat. Levels would buy me some wiggle room with
予定
this.
通り完遂しま
Because
した
the issue is that I'm running into like DP crunch, which is
おかえ
unusual
りドクター
early on. But hopefully this will help. Is there not a collect all for this? Oh man. Dailies and weeklies, these will help a lot. So what do we have here? Any operator, drill plan, 1 difficulty in supplies. I won't do this on stream, but I can cover it. A 1 difficulty operation in supplies. Oh, I know what they're talking about. I don't have that unlocked yet. Okay. We can level up some more people. That's a good thing. We need an AoE. Am I going to do Gitano? Ooh. Or am I just gonna do lava? What was Gitano's base skill? I don't remember. That's crazy! Holy crap, how do I not know someone's base skill? I am ashamed as an endgame player. We're gonna raise Yato, but she's not a priority, and Noir Corn. We're gonna raise Stuart, Ansel, who we don't have yet, and I'm debating on Lava. We probably will do... Lava never gets... No, she does. She gets E1. Because we're not going to push Gitano to E2. That'd be insane. Man. Gitano or Lava. I really don't want to level Shiryuki either. I need better options. Ooh. Let's go for it. Let's burn the rest of our resources. We're going for it. There has to be a better option. Hey, that's pretty nice. I'm not gonna raise that yet, though. That's pretty nice, too. Not a Vigna, though. Alright, didn't get what we need. We will, like I said, exhaust this banner just because every roll on this is just cheaper than on any other banner, and I am not going to do the whole, like, reroll thing, special, whatever. This whole account is going to be as generic as possible. But I will utilize anything that we get randomly on it, such as potentials for Kuora and 4 stars. Whatever 3 stars we need as a stopgap and are decent long-term investments. Like Cruise, we're definitely going to max out Cruise, 100%. And the healer when we get them. Can I rush these? I can rush one of them. We're probably not going to get what we want. Probably not going to get what we want, but let's see. Yeah. This does reduce cost. It's not nothing. Sniper. I can get a cruise potential. We'll still stick with Vanguards. Try to get lucky on a Myrtle. And in the meantime, the DP cost reduction on our 3-star will not be bad. Let's see. We are definitely going to use Moose. However her name is. This might be a long-term thing. I might not use her in every stage, just so people understand for now what's going on. But she's very useful against bosses. I think she's one of the most underrated characters in the game, unless you play like with 4 stars a lot, because people just don't understand how strong her attack reduction is on this skill. It doesn't look that impressive now because it's skill level 2, but with masteries and everything, and against enemies that hit really hard, this attack reduction is very powerful. Yep, that's all we're gonna do for now. What's this? Skill summary. Alright, continuing. Beagle? We have Beagle already. I guess we're gonna get a Beagle potential. They're probably gonna kill Fang, yeah. They're gonna have this big guy come in. He's gonna be too much damage for her. She's gonna get just completely wiped out. And
早く逃げた方が
We're
いい
gonna
です
have to
よ
maximize our potential here with defenders. He is like not optimal for killing this guy. They could have given me a caster. Come on. What is this? To get my skill. It's just defense. It's not her healing skill.
それ
More damage. Go.
ビーグルって言いますまあ採用テストはギリギリでしたけど
ドクターの指示のおかげですね。
And then... Hey! Hey, this is what we wanted. Heck yes, and we get base materials. That's amazing. So we have 2 potential choke points. One is here, but these slots are blocked off, which kind of suck. So you either have to do 2 lanes or 1 lane really well with somewhat restrictive range tiles. We're probably going to go for this, but we might just set up some extra damage up here. And who did I got? There was... We're gonna use Mouse.
はい精
I
一杯
think
頑張ります
in front of Beagle. That's fine. Who's there? Yeah.
しばし待たれこの作戦の行く末を占おう
Now that I think about it, I don't need Jessica. I put 10 levels in her, but I have an Arknight. And I'm in a level cruise. I don't need Jessica at all. I wasted 10 levels. Most people will not have Arknight necessarily. So it's worth building Cruise in Jessica for 99.9% of use cases.
私たちにお任せください承知しております
Order matters in this case because she does more damage. So we want to maximize
当たってる時
for
は
that extra
眠れないん
damage.
だからここにいたのね
And we want to get
これが戦場というものね
貫く
ここにいたのね
get a defender in there. Well, we'll see.
狙って
I could probably do. Yeah, I think I am gonna want someone actually up there.
貫くこの槍に全てをかけて我が信念を貫く
I'm gonna replace you with Mouse.
だよ
I'm gonna put a caster there. Yeah,
主
we'll
の
do
祝
that.
福があらんことムースだって戦えます
みんな私に続け
And we have 2 casters to deal with these armored guys. Again, Mouse in front of somebody with more block,
私に
so
続
that
け
whoever dies, she kind of takes over the damage. And again, these stages are not hard enough for that to actually matter yet.
外科の
But
アシス
hey,
タ
I
ント
got
を担
Ansel.
当します
We're gonna raise Ansel, not
完璧な勝利だみんな
we're gonna raise Ansel because he's a better long-term investment than Myrrh. And I will talk about that briefly. Now they're A. We got these open. Look at that. Alright. Beagle. I don't care about Beagle. Well, she has a pot, though. Alright. So Ansel is amazing because his skill gives you extra range. And it's not really conditional. And as a 3-star... there's a mode called Integrated Strategies, and 3 stars are... It's valuable to have at least one in every sort of important class for recruitment because they don't have any recruitment cost normally in Integrated Strategies to draft. and they're relatively cheap to raise, but that's kind of a poor argument in my opinion for why people should build them. They really need to be multi-purpose or fill a gap that you have with a higher rarity to be worth it. A lot of new players are told build all your 3 stars. They go and sink all of their resources building their 3 stars before anyone else to, E155, which is max for them. And it hurts my soul every time I see that, because it's just people religiously following generic advice to their... It's just making the game harder than it needs to be for no real reason. And sure, over the long term, that isn't much of a setback, but for new players when resources are tight, that's such a huge debuff. Whatever 6-star you start off with, you should be able to level them and be happy with it, and you don't need to look at a tier list and wonder if they're good or not. It's not about... the tier lists are extremely misleading. I'll do a whole video on why that is at some point that won't be long form. It'll just be short, explaining very specifically, but needless to say, Ansel is a 3-star. We're going to be replacing Myrrh, because long term, Myrrh is not going to have any value to me, because I will get better, higher rarity healers at some point. I'll have Warfarin or Telopsis. If I have a Warfarin, an Ea Altar, I don't know, anything else useful. A Lumen. Lumen's about to be free for everyone. Again, Lumen is incredibly good. If I have a Lumen, why would I raise a Myrrh unless it's for specifically 4-star stuff? She's actually a decent healer. She's not bad. If you had to make do or you like her design and you build her, she'll work. That's not the problem. It's just if you actually want to completely min-max your resources, you're going to build Ansel, because you can use him way longer than you should, because even when you're an endgame player, you'll still use him because of integrated strategies. He's by far, hands down, the best 3-star medic for integrated strategies, and it's not even a question. And he puts Hibiscus to complete shame in every conceivable and imaginable way. So that's why when I got Perfumer, I pretty much immediately replaced Hibiscus. You are in general going to want an AoE medic of some type and at least a single target, and Ansel is the best early investment, unless you start off with, like, I don't know, a Shining or a Warfarin or something like that. But even then, you'll still eventually raise Ansel. But if you do have like a Warfarin or maybe a Silence, even Silence, I might raise Ansel over Silence. That's how much I think he's worth raising from the get-go. So you can't go wrong. So we're gonna put some levels in Ansel, because I am not at all worried about investing on him at any stage in the game. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 operators that we've invested in. 2 slots we still haven't put anything in, but still hoping we get some better options. So we'll stick with some level 1s for a little bit longer. I have everyone at skill level 2, don't I? Nope. And I'm not gonna... I'm gonna avoid this because I'm gonna smoke copium for Myrtle for a bit. I will eventually get one. It's unavoidable. And some people will raise Fang for integrated strategies. I personally prefer vanilla. I think for integrated strategies, vanilla is better. Most people raise Fang, I guess, for the extra DP. But vanilla has better stats, and if you're going to have 1 3-star Vanguard and only 1 3-star Vanguard, vanilla gives you DP and attack. It's kind of a hybrid between Fang and Plume, like a middle ground. And versatility is worth a lot in integrated strategies. Also, I want to briefly talk about April. April is incredibly good, but I'm not going to build her, and I'm not going to build her because she's incredibly good, mostly for late game accounts. I would have to put a lot of resources in her, and she will not outperform Arketo in most roles, because I would primarily be using her to do the same thing as Arketo, but worse, until she's like E2, and then you really use her more as like a fast redeploy. However, she is expensive to deploy as a fast redeploy, and so potentials really help out with her a lot, which mainly make her a flex for late game accounts. But if you have her, and you, for instance, if you didn't have Arketo and you were looking for someone to invest in, she is not a bad pick because her S1 is perfectly fine. You could not raise Jessica and just use her for her S1 instead, and that would not be a problem. And long term, if you e-tutor, you'd get some good value, but you would have to spend more to promote her than Jessica for sure. So April, if people get her, she's very good, but not exactly a new player unit. But you can use her as a new player. There's nothing wrong with it. Melantha. Oh man, activate Kyostin memes.
みんな
Alright,
リラックスしてていいからね
so
ここを死守します。
私たちにお任せください。
獲物を見つけました。現には3つの選択が、敵には3種の苦難があります。ほらみんな
we need
敵が来
the
ますよ。
full spread pretty quick on this one.
これが戦場というものね。
Now
弦の振動を感じて
we will deploy a AoE caster.
みんな、私に続け。
Do it here. That man, I really need E1. These ranges are depressing me.
背負って戦います。
弓を引いて狙いを定めて
And then what I really want to do is replace her with Mouse.
かしこまりました。みんな、私に
And
続け。
theoretically, I could replace her with Beagle and just have like a ton of block behind Mouse.
弓を引いて
But I actually, what you also kind of want with this scenario, because worst case scenario, enemies get through these two and are being blocked here. I don't really have Arketo damage happening. If that happens, I do have Gitano, but we generally want like some other decent DPS with this kind of configuration. And I just have to be careful that she might need healing at some point.
懸命な戦車よ、空をかけよ。みんな、私に続け。
We're gonna replace her. And we will add a healer. And that's game. Melantha, a lot of players would normally build. However, there's a unit who is better at literally everything than Melantha. That unit is Vigna. Vigna's a 4-star, which is a slightly higher rarity. But in general, you're always going to get her. Oh, hell yeah, the base. Eventually, it's only a matter of time. Vigna has better DPS, better total attack. She's cheaper to deploy. She's a Vanguard, generates DP. She has better skill cycle time. Literally every single thing, except for raw hit points. Vigna is better than Melantha. But on the same kind of role for what you would use Melantha for, Mouse is even better than that. So we still want a Vigna, but in this case it's not to replace Melantha, which is what we actually wanted Vigna for.
Debris cleared. Debris cleared.
Hell yeah.
Debris cleared. Debris cleared. Debris cleared.
We're gonna need... Yeah, that's fine. Do they even let me choose? They don't at this stage, huh?
Infrastructure Infrastructure complete. Infrastructure complete.
Yep, that's fine.
Infrastructure complete.
Jessica, indeed.
ロトスの皆さん、話しやすいのかな。
She's gonna, no, why would I... Why would she make XP and not gold bars? We don't have gold bars, do we?
こんにちは。失礼します。
Resources received.
Yeah, see, we need gold bars. Boo. This is a bad setup. You should not... It's really dumb to have a factory producing XP and a trading post producing gold bars and not have any way to make new gold bars. This is nonsense. So we are going to change this to gold bars. And you do need about 25% more LMD to raise ops than you need XP. So this is fine. Do I...
Debris cleared. Infrastructure complete.
Can I upgrade these?
Cancelled.
Can't upgrade yet. Hell yeah. Base assistance. Time to milk free trust.
何か飲みませんか、ドクター。
Trust is extra stats that you basically get for using an operator in essence.
陰鬱なところですね。
Once it's at 100%, the stats that you get are maxed out.
まるでありません。
And at low levels and for new operators, it's very, very meaningful. For endgame players, if you can just immediately max out a character with stockpiled stuff, it's not a huge deal. The extra stats usually aren't make or break, but at low levels, it's a lot. You know, operator, if they have like 180 attack, trust bonus might be as much as like 80 attack. It's like huge. Obviously, that becomes a lot more trivial as they get leveled up and they go from like 180 attack to, you know, maybe 500 or 600 for like a marksman. Like her attack will be around 630-ish if you max her out. But right now her attack is nowhere near that, and her trust bonus I think is 80 or 85. So it is anything but negligible.
Debris cleared.
And we are going to go
Debris cleared.
as far as we can with
Debris
this.
cleared. Infrastructure complete.
Alright. And workshop is... I'm not going to have anything to make here yet. Yeah. Explanation, that's great. Can I even... I don't have any workshop operators, do I? Nope. I do. I'm dumb. So if we E1 her, she'll have... That's right, she does get a cool skill.
まだ服に薬草の匂いが残ってる気がします。
Products received.
And... we'll put someone in here just for... Put Ansel. Actually, no, Ansel could go in a dorm. How much of this are we going to do right now? Yeah, explanation, that's great. It's easier to do from here. Control center. Power plant.
まあいいだろう。一人
Workshop.
でいるのが好きだし。
Put perfumer in there because we actually use
ドク
her.
ター君のそばが
And then
一
for
番居心地
now,
がいいわ。
we're gonna do. So I just filtered operators that are not assigned to something. We'll recharge her morale, but we're gonna put in any operator who we want to raise trust for, because any operator in your dorm gets free trust during the daily reset. So we have Arketo, Ansel, Kuara in our squad. We're definitely using Cruz. That's who we'll prioritize for stats for
火の
now.
玉を投げないでね。
And then when they become fatigued, we'll swap them out. Which who knows when that'll be. This isn't gonna be an account I play every day. This is literally just gonna be for creating these guides that I will cut up into manageable bits. Alright. I think that's everything we can do here now. But the base is cooking. That's
ドク
good.
ター
Just gonna collect this stuff. Don't really care too much what it is. 4.
Resources received.
Oh, I see. I made a gold bar so I could collect one of these from the pre-cached orders. That's fine. Drones. Can I? Oh, I have to drone this thing. We will use up our drones too. Oh, I can't. Boo. That's terrible. Oh man, I can't accelerate stuff with drones. I can't build anything either, can I?
Cancelled.
Yeah. Not that I would start with the workshop anyways. Alright.
おかえりドクター。
Melantha. I probably won't invest in her at all, but we'll see. Alright. Basically the same stage. I don't think I need to alter anything.
総員出発前に装備品のチェックを。
Pretty much the same thing.
各自配置につけ。
主の祝福があらんことを。弓を引いて狙いを定めて放つ。これが戦場というもの。
あいつらもう二度と明日の太陽を見る機会はないかもね。
弦の振動を感じて。
We will need some more
かしこま
DPS.
りがテラーノの栄光を背負って戦います。みんな
Have enough
私
for
に続け。
Gitano? No, I am gonna put her there.
福音が指先に集まる。
みんな私に続け。
And now we're going to
怯えたりしませんから。弦の振動を感じて。
みんな私に続け。
治療が必要な人はいない。弓を引いて。
万物を滅ぼせ。除教庫。
ここが僕のホームだよ。
That's probably game. Yep,
お薬です。
easy.
ごめんなさい。戦うのが好きってわけじゃないんですが。
Is that it? Oh man. Look at that. Chapter 0 completed.
おかえりドクタ
We
ー。
only redid one level, which was interesting. How much resources do I have? Well, I have a good amount. Holy cow. I've been slacking. Do I have enough for 20? On
な
everyone?
るほど。
Most
本
everyone?
当に役に立つ知識ばかり
Key
です。
operators. Amia.
ご指導いただきありがとうございます。
You
ふむふむ、こちらがロドスのオペレーターの戦い方ですね。
blocker.
様になっています。ガチガチに硬くなるよ。僕、硬くなることしかできないの。
My other DPS blocker.
このご恩は絶対に忘れません。
Got a little bit left. We can do one of our vanguards. Probably the one who does more damage.
なるほど。実力の差を戦術で埋めるというわけですね。
What about skills? Skills. Nope, can't do that one. Oh, I really don't have the stuff for it. Let's see. I really need skill stuff, but I don't really want to farm this stage. But I can do maybe the first... I don't want to reset my squad. This is going to be ranged only, so... we will take... all of the range that we have that's relevant. Taking anything else is almost like worthless. Alright, whatever.
大丈夫です。
I won't use that. But we do want to get clear out at least the first
行ってくる。援護よろしく
the
な。
first tier.
わらわには
It'll be
ロドスの勝利が見えるぞ。
to cruise on top. To
獲
her in
物を
the
見つけ
middle.
ました。
Her in the bottom.
福音が指先に集まる。
治療の準備を。
ここにいたのね。狙ってー。わかりました。
了解です。
That'll probably... it's probably all we need. I doubt I even need the
ノ
casters,
リノ
but
リの曲でいくよ。
who knows? I think our Keto's got us covered, yep.
よかったわね、ドクターくん。
So... what we really wanted out of that
おかえり、ドクター。
was... our skill books. And I don't really want to repeat that stage, but if I can get an extra skill out of this... nope, don't have any farming stages yet. So, we don't want to be inefficient. We'll push on with our units. I don't want that. We want story. Easy. And... oh wait. There we go.
いつでも行けますよ。
That's fine.
しばし待たれ。この作戦の行く末を占おう。
I don't have any levels on Stuart. Fascinating.
カーディ、空気を読んだ行動を頼んだよ。
矢はつがえてあります。
承知しております。各自配置につけ。
獲物を見つけました。 福音が指先に集まる。
I'll go with single
治
target.
療の準備を貫く。
どんな戦いになるかしらね。福音が指先に集まる。了解しました。
なんでしょう。私の目をごまかせると思うな。みんな私に続け。
Place you.
ほらほら。弓を
Once her
引いて
skill's up, we'll replace her with mouse.
放つ。
That's probably all we need on this stage.
かしこまりました。
怯えたりしませんから。
So this setup lets us deal with pretty much anything because we have a lot of just DPS without necessarily dealing with armor. We have a good amount of arts. We have a chonky blocker and a healer. So pretty much no matter what comes,
この声は
we are covered.
泣いている。ドクター。
Because Mouse only blocks one, the amount of damage that she takes is not too overwhelming if you put her in front of a tank. So having a high block value is usually a good thing, but at particularly low levels, not having to tank multiple enemies that you're blocking helps with survivability a lot. So it is worth considering those things. If I had a Vigna and I had Vigna in there instead, for example, ooh, I got a base.
おか
You
えり
can。upgrade the base. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Upgrading. Infrastructure complete. Debris cleared. Debris cleared. Infrastructure complete.
Yeah. Why? I have to click on. What do I have to click on? I know how this works. It's all good. I am just gonna take the operators with the clue stuff. No need to think.
良き部屋である。
Alright. What can I upgrade? I can only upgrade the... Wait, what?
Cancelled.
What does this take?
Cancelled.
Drones. I'm just curious. It doesn't make sense to do the dorm before these facilities, but, can I? Do I have stuff to add? Nope. That's fine.
おかえり、ドクター。
That's fine. Yay. I am not here for any of this. I am here for this. Hell yeah. Can I upgrade a skill now? I need... Ooh. I mean, eventually I'll get these. It's probably not worth it. But these... that I'll get for free as well. So that's probably the most efficient combo. That's a lot of XP for this level. So we should be able to raise everyone who is somewhat important now. Cruise to 20.
りがと
Perfumer to 20.
う。成果の確認よろしくね。
Two levels here.
なるほど。
That's fine.
実
For
力の差を
now.
戦術で埋めるというわけですね。
Alright. Oh, tutorial. Don't need story. I don't actually know. Hmm.
ここを死守します。みんな私に続け。来いよ。
手加減はしませんよ。
Oh no.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
I don't know what to prioritize when I don't have my own units. That's the problem with the tutorials, is that you're stuck on a fixed squad with the levels that they hand you. So,
各自配置につけ。
I don't have that much
作戦
time.
準備をお願いします。
But sometimes
中世の用意は
they
整いました。
they give you like pretty slim margins on some of these. So, hopefully she can handle that, and I need one of these
貫く。
out relatively early.
持ちこたえてください。そうだ。
This is sketch.
みんな
Oh my gosh, this is so sketch.
準備完了。
But
目標
probably
地点
good
に到
there.
着しました。
この程度のスピードで私に勝てるとでも。
絶対許しません。ここは安全です。何を待つ。亡霊だってお前を救えないさ。
了解です。
私は一歩も引きません。
Alright. That'll probably work.
私が
倒れろ。
Yeah, the only issue we had is not really knowing what to deploy first because we were forced to use the units they handed us. What do they want? Victories, rather, working together, team, record. Yeah, we've already done this.
おかえり、ドクター。
Ooh. Lots of skill summaries. Heck yes. All I need now is the actual materials to build someone, which we don't have. I can't rush these yet, can I? Nope.
おかえり、ドクター。
This isn't a boss stage, is it? Mm-mm-mm-mm.
しばし待たれ。 この作戦の行く末を占おう。
みんなくれぐれも安全にね。
各自配置につけ。
Common mistake on this stage is deploying operators in these two squares, and then you can't make full use of the range tiles here, or in that case, like this one here. So we're going to deploy our other one down here, or in theory, if they all went here, I could double them up, but I don't have their paths memorized. So we will deploy it like this. I want to get additional DPS as quickly as possible out in general, which is what marksmen are good at.
貫く。
And we definitely need some more DPS here.
聞いてるよ。狙って
貫く。かしこまりました。
You will be Beagle.
目標地点。福音
You
が
will
指
be
先に集
Kuora.
まる。
Get some arts damage.
ブースの戦いです。
We will get some arts damage.
現には3つの選択や
Healing.
敵には3種の苦難があります。
Get some more healing.
狙って
And that is a boss of a setup, if I do say so myself. Like a true Arknights master.
完璧な勝利だ。みんなお疲れ様。
Man, it is weird to remember all this stuff in a way, but also not remember any of it. What are they teaching here? I don't know.
リラックスしてていいからね。
So, we will set up around here.
各自配置につけ。
We are going to use a relatively advanced configuration.
主の祝福があらんことを。
貫く。治療の準備を。
現には3つの選択が敵には3種の苦難があります。 オラオラ弓を引いて狙いを定めて放つ。
Oh man.
みんな私に続け。
弦の振動を感じて。
私の目をごまかせると思うな。
Ooh. I almost needed someone else there.
弦の振動を感じて。
貫く。
Tempted to put mouse here, going this way. I don't actually, I haven't needed more than one block here. But I do want to say one of the reasons why I put them facing down is, again, to maximize the damage here. If the majority of the traffic is going to go through this central tile, and they only have to block one on occasion. Because when they're blocking, they'll prioritize attacking who they're blocking. And when they're not, because they have higher attack and they have higher block, it's good to get that attack here so that they don't leak. That's kind of the logic between doing like these staggered setups like this. And it's just a little like nuance of things that new players might not think about, which makes sense because it's not necessarily super obvious, but then you can also see how like the attack range here fits into this space like a key. If I select on her, you can see how it perfectly maximizes the attack area there. And the reason why I didn't do it with her is so that I could get this space down here. But Cruz's attack isn't as high as my 6-star. So it's more important for me to prioritize maximizing her attack than hers. And even with that, I almost had to deploy something behind her to cover. And I might have to put something up here. I'm a little curious. Let's see. Yeah. She barely catches it. And she is still struggling, so this is what we gonna do.
Mission accomplished.
敵を一人残らず倒すことができました。ロドスのみんなはやっぱり最高です。
4. Man, I can't even. I literally need 2 healers now. Mandatory for that to cover all those lanes. Staggered setups are really useful for configurations like that as well. It'd be really nice to have E1 operators, because if I had E1, then my ranges would be better on a lot of my units. So I'm kind of hurting with my snipers because I'm missing some of the range that I'm used to them having. But we will continue to make do.
行動開始します。みんな、敵が来ますよ。
I'll do sort of the same thing, except I don't really know where the next lane's gonna be, and that is a bit of a problem. So I probably can't rely on the same thing because this is still a central lane. So I'm just gonna have to replace her and get a healer down as quickly as possible before they die. Need to get these out.
敵を発見。わらわにはロドスの勝利が見えるぞ。
We'll do. There. Oh man, I literally can't reach Plume with any of my healers. Well, I could have if I put her actually over one. I might have to do that. This is not my favorite setup. I do get a range boost if I get in a pinch healing there. And if Perfumer were E2 or E1, I would have these tiles, and her aura would be passively healing everyone, which I really, really like that talent. But this is probably good enough for this stage. Almost certain this is good enough for this stage. Yep. Boom.
完璧な勝利だ。みんなお疲れ様。
おかえり、ドクター。
Yeah. Am I gonna try an annihilation? Is that gonna be how I close out this session? Maybe. Maybe. Annihilations are really important to do early on, as early as you possibly can, because Orundum is how you get pulls. and the first few stages unlock the total amount that you can get. We really want this cruise potential though, so we're gonna do this first. I definitely right now these it's funny to want these low level potentials because I'm just so used to assuming that they're there, and it's crazy when they're not.
戦ってる時は眠らないんだから。
私たちにお任せください。
狙って。
They gonna give me a block? There we go. There we go. Give me that block.
みんな、私に続け。
I wonder what the rest of the blocks are for. What am I gonna do with 2 other blocks on this stage?
みんな、私に続け。
Mission accomplished.
Heck yes.
クルーズですよ。悪くないと思うよ。
Cruise potentials. That's what I'm talking about. We're gonna use that immediately. Reduce that cost. Actually, the attack bonus and talent improvement are good too, but we won't have the talent until... Oh! Do I have enough for anyone's skills? Nope. Wrong button. Nope. Nope. Alright. Ooh. But I don't need Jessica. Unfortunate. Ooh. She's gonna get replaced by Myrtle. That's the problem. We'll hold off on that for now. Definitely. Ansel, always invest. That's all we're gonna do for now.
Resources received.
I need to turn off that base notification. Where is it? Exiting the base. What's this? Level 2 control center? Oh, okay. Seven left on that? 2 of them?
ね。
スカベンジャーだ。汚い仕事は任せてくれ。
Scavenger's not bad, but we're not gonna bother with her. Because we want Myrtle, we want Vigna. She's okay though. If we were doing like 4-star stuff, we would absolutely need her. She's like mandatory for typically if people play 4-star, they'll have Scavenger or Courier and Myrtle, and oftentimes Vigna as well, just because Vigna's attack it's insane. Vigna can hit way harder than a lot of players realize, even endgame players. Like a lot of people just don't. There's so much hidden potential in stuff in this game that people don't know about. Am I gonna try this? Yeah. Is it? Where? Oh, there we go. Chernobog. Oh, I need a I don't know if this is possible yet. I feel like I need a Shaw. And I don't have a Shaw yet. Am I gonna play until I get a Shaw? Man. I guess I'll hold off on the Annihilation for a little bit.
ムースは地味だから偵察に向いてると思いますよ。
各自配置につけ。
ここを死守します。
So I'll mention briefly with these blocks. Sometimes if it comes to just using the blocks for pathing and not some of the shenanigans you'll see in gameplay videos, it's best to deploy them before your vanguards, because when these guys start spawning, if they get into where you want to deploy the block and you don't have the DB for it, if you try to place the block down, they'll just immediately attack it and despawn it. It has to already be placed so that their pathing is redirected before they have any sort of like intersection with the square that these take place in. And you don't actually have to completely follow the guides. It doesn't really matter if I put the block here or here too much. It's not a big difference, but you can place the blocks anywhere, even if they have the big arrow saying, hey, put a block here. Anything that kind of interrupts this path up here is going to force everyone to path this way. And the game won't let you completely block off the blue box. Like if I try and place one here, it won't let me. See, so you can't completely block off pathing. And so, I do want to mention, so because these loop around, normally if enemies were coming from this way, I would want to put like a marksman here. But because they loop around, it actually makes more sense now to put the marksman here or even here, right? If you have them at E1 and they have the full range. Although if you put them here, then you're restricting where you place your healers. So in general, for like a normal forward-facing healer, and if I'm not using like an AoE healer here looking down or something, we'll put the marksman here facing this way. And that's again because we're going to maximize the range as they loop around this way. That's what we want to do. And then we're going to do the same on the bottom. But we are going to leave potential space for a healer. If we put them here, then we might have to put a healer facing backwards, which isn't always a bad idea, but it can be. The other thing is, if you have a healer with a long range, like if I had E1 healer, I could potentially put one here and cover all these squares, but I don't. So we're going to go with a pretty normal looking setup like that for now, and it gives me options to either do an AoE healer like this, or two separate healers facing this way. And we'll replace her with Kaora. And then we will do our AoE there. And we want yes, so much damage. It's you, mouse. So I probably don't even need a healer on her because I replaced this op with mouse. Any ranged ops, since they loop around this way, are going to target her and not Gitano. So I probably don't even need to use a healer, but I'll keep one on standby in case. Oh, If I had placed this block here, I also could have put an op here facing down just to chip away at this guy. That's kind of a programmer move on occasion too. No, I'm sure I have enough arts damage.
皇帝の王爵をへし折れ。はーい。ドクター。ここが僕のそういう感じ。
Cooldowns, why not? Yeah, easy.
よかったわね、ドクター君。
Oh, account level. I don't need that sanity right now. Man, do I not need that sanity.
アンセルさん、あとはよろしくお願いします。
ここを死守します。
了解しました。
Figna has a lot more attack than Plume. I'm not sure which way is the best way to do it, but it might not matter. Because that is more block than they have. Yeah.
勝てたのですか。
That's all they wanted.
よかったです。
They want you to stun, use the thing to stun the guys because you only have 1 blocks. Hey, this stage is infamous. I have reached the eternal stage of perpetual farming. The most played stage in Arknights history, 1-7.
各自配置につけ。
どうしてみんな仲良くできないのかな。
And when you farm this stage, eventually, generally, you're just gonna spawn camp the guys. I don't really have strong enough vanguards to do that at this point. So we're gonna use a castle strat because it makes sense right now. And oh, I should briefly mention purpose for not placing her here. It's just it's more convenient. I'm gonna try and get away with only using 1 healer, AoE healer, as opposed to needing 2 to cover everything or almost everything. So if I place her here, then I have this spot open for the healer to cover everyone. And I do know there are guys with ranged attacks here. I'm gonna want to get I think I can get away with placing some casters that I don't need to provide any healing for. If I can, well, we'll see. If I can replace these guys. But even then, might be sketch.
かしこまりました。
Do have healing available. And mouse. I don't think it matters up or down. We don't even need this thing. We're more pimped out than we need to be. Gitano's gonna have to tank a few hits, but she's a champ. She's not actually a champ. She's but whatever. Easy day. Orchid is one of the operators I do recommend leveling up, regardless of who you start out with, because of her usage in integrated strategies. And also because slowers are useful against boss stages when you don't have tons of levels. Like this stage, actually, slowers are good for this. What I really need is Shaw for that annihilation. Let me see what I got. Collect.
すごくためになる講習ビデオだったわね。しっかり覚えておくわ。
Right. So we will try this. Do I need Beagle? Ooh. We will keep her. We'll keep the current squad for now. I lied. Stuart does better damage than Orchid, but Orchid's giving me some utility. And we are investing in Amiya rather than Stuart right off the bat, even though Stuart is very good in integrated strategies. Let's see how this goes. Oh, I wish I had an Earl in my party. So... put her there.
承知しております。
獲物を見つけました。福音が指先に集まる。目標ってみんな私に続け。戦っている時は眠らない。弦の振動を感じて。ここは弓を引いて狙いを定めて放つ。
So, I have to explain this. Slower supporters have some range behind them, and I know that Crownslayer's path is going to go around this way if they get past this initial wave, and having them be slowed down while they're going through here allows me to just deal extra arts damage to them. Where their other primary purpose is just to be another damage type to complement Cruz because her attack sucks as as just a regular old defender. Do that, and we are going to replace you with Mouse, so we have Arts. So we have Arts and Physical, Healer. Be nice if we can get that in there real quick. And we should be good. Crownslayer's probably not going to get killed by, by that. Eventually she'll phase through this blocker. When she comes down here, we'll activate the skill here. And now, when Crownslayer comes back around, she should have basically no chance. But we want to do that anyways, and we're going to stun her. A level 3 base. And that's going to be where I probably call it for the night, but we'll do some quick laundry here. We'll collect these. We'll upgrade the base. Oh, we can't upgrade the base. From drones of all things. That's hilarious. What? How is Amiya not in here? Well, whatever. Alright. Base operator's working. And, I guess when I can log in next and I do the next section of this, I'll have the stuff I need to upgrade this to level 3, which will be nice. I think I'll get another row. The goal is going to be to get... Eventually, we're going to turn this into a 252 base, which means 2 trading posts, 5 factories, 2 power plants. That is, in my opinion, just for new players. I think 243 bases are better. CN can fight me on that. They're wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. Because if you invest in operators, if you click on here and you'll see like they have these skills that enhance the efficiency. A lot of the operators have skills that synergize with other operators. And if you have enough of them and you build them, because when you level up, some of those skills will get improved at E1 or E2 for 5 stars and 6 stars. And when they get their skill improvements, oftentimes some of the more niche operators like Eunectes and Rosmontis or Shamir, they'll have these special skills that have these very, very strong synergies. And if you build enough of those operators, your base will be very efficient. However, lower level bases will not be able to harness those efficiencies as much. So when you don't have very many operators built, and you're just starting out, 252 bases will get you the most bang for your buck, because you have the least amount of need or ability to utilize operator combinations efficiently. But once you have a lot of operators built already, it becomes much less hassle to manage with logins and swapping operators in and out, because your dorms will be more efficient. They'll be at higher level. They'll heal people faster. You can have your A team, which has everything completely maxed out, and your B team only has to be in there for shorter periods of time while your A team is in the dorms. And you'll have the slots available in all of your facilities to be able to take advantage of these synergies, because oftentimes they're not efficient if you don't have a certain number of slots available. So for instance, for male has an ability that synergizes with people that have extra capacity for factories. And if you can only use 2 operators in a factory, then for male is never worth it. You're better off putting 2 operators with just as high of a production number as they can, because Vermeil herself doesn't have very good production. But if you have an operator with decent production and they add capacity, that capacity then also turns into production when combined with Vermeil, and you get much better efficiency. And so a lot of combinations have a similar type of effect to that, where there's a certain level of synergy, but if you can't take full advantage of it, then it's not better than just using generic operators. And by generic, I mean like standardization B is considered a generic skill. Like you get a flat 25% of production, and that's it. And there are skills that add like another 5% onto this, but you know that's literally it. There's no special efficiencies. Whereas if I look at Arknights, you'll see that it's 1% for every level of each dormitory. So if my base is fully upgraded, this is way more efficient, and also it gets upgraded at E2. So right now, chances are Arknights is less efficient than if I used Yato, who gives me a flat 30%, because I'm getting 1 level for every dorm. That's I have 1 dorm and 1 level, so she is doing 1%, which is nothing. However, I do want to have to harvest trust from her, and I know my base isn't especially efficient right now, so I'm not really worried about min-maxing. But if I really was concerned about min-maxing, if this were my main account, I'd have like Yato or Gitano working in there for that bonus, because it's literally 25 times better right now than Arknights. And actually, you know what? Where is she? I actually don't have her in there. I thought I did. Man. Okay, never mind. She's she's in the dorm. Yeah. Never mind. I'm not dumb. I had somebody efficient already working. I was mistaking her for working when she was just sitting in the dorm.
Products received.
But yeah, that is fun
おかえり
times.
ドクター
And this is like feels like my endgame account with that sanity. I'm not going to worry about trying to burn it right now or anything like that. We will come back to this at another time, and I will continue talking about little nuanced topics as I go through like the newbie stuff. I will edit this video down at some point into chunks, explaining specific things, or I might just do that with other stages. I might just leave this as a long form stream and go in with like a very specific stage where I can cover like overlapping arcs and operator kits and stuff like that. But there are things that I'm going to break up because I do want to talk about like how to evaluate an operator so that people don't have to go, oh, what does this tier list say about Arketto? Like these damage numbers, like what do they mean? Because when I first started playing this game, I remember looking at the damage on these, and I completely didn't understand why there was this inconsistency between some skills saying 175% and some skills saying like plus 35%. So obviously plus 35% and 135% are the same amount of damage, and in a complete vacuum that would be true. But any skill that has a plus or a minus in it is it stacks differently than numbers that say they deal a certain percentage and they don't have the plus. So plus 35% means that anything that affects attack, this does not stack with. It's whatever this base number is plus this amount, and you can add up all the plus this amounts, but those are completely separate from any other bonus. Whereas if you see something like this where it says it deals this percent is on top of anything that affects attack. So if she gets plus attack, that gets added into this, and then this multiplies with it. Or anything that multiplies it like this, any other multiple also multiplies with that. So the skills and figuring out what these mean and if it's good or not, is this person good, are they good, a skilled player, for the most part, with very little exception, there might be little tiny tidbits or nuance to things, can go in and just look at the talents and the stats and the skills and what all the different things in them mean, and just know basically how to use them, what they're going to be good at. They'll be able to like theory craft sort of like optimal use cases, and then make a decision like, is this operator, are they going to do something valuable for me? And that is way, way, way more valuable than looking up some generic ranking on a tier list, because tier lists are a measure of popularity and how often you can get away with using them, which means they way overemphasize generalist operators that you can use 80-90% of the time, but they won't necessarily be the ideal fit. And if you're playing a hard stage and you're using only generalist operators and you don't understand how to make how to min max and use operators that are better perfect fits for an individual scenario, you could actually be making the game way harder than it needs to be for you in those situations. So tier lists are a bit of a trap in my opinion, and also if players like a character, I don't think they should be dissuaded from using them if they just like a certain design, because if you know what their kit is, for the most part with few exceptions, you can build synergy around them so that character is not holding you back in your team. Many characters are very powerful, and people will just completely dismiss them because outside of combining them with other operators in a team, they'll underperform. So like Viviana versus Surtur. In a complete vacuum, Surtur, people will wonder why anyone would ever use Viviana. But if you're going to delete a boss, just in pure how quick does it take to annihilate a boss, and you have a whole team to work with, Surtur has trash synergy with nearly every operator in the game. And Viviana is just more like a very normal operator, and they both deal 3 hits, but Surtur deals 3 hits to different targets. Viviana hits 3 hits to the same target. So if you just have a boss and you want to annihilate them as quickly as possible, and you have a team to work with, and you can put a arts res debuffer in the squad, then you, like, I made a video where I had Viviana kill Patriot, who has some very high resistance, which is the reason why I was using him. And because I paired Viviana with Praminix and Reed buffs arts damage multiplicatively, and Praminix debuffs res, so very high res enemies. It results in your effective DPS being multiples higher, and because Viviana hits 3 times the same enemy instead of 1 time on different enemies if present, when attacking an enemy like Patriot, Viviana would literally kill Patriot in like less than half a skill set cycle, which is like 11 seconds or something like that. And he's a chunky boy. Surtur can't do that. Now, Surtur can kill Patriot in a solo setup with multiple deployments, and I didn't have to redeploy Viviana at ever. It's activate skill, wait for Patriot to come into phase 2, activate skill, and he dies even quicker the second time around. I think he dies in 3 hits. So it's not that, I make the argument Viviana is better than Surtur. I make the argument Surtur is more popular only because of her lack of required synergy with a team, which might sound good, but if you try to synergize her with a team, it's almost stupid to even attempt to do that. And so in some cases you could be actually limiting what you're doing because of that kind of decision. Not necessarily in the Patriot fight, but you never know what the devs are going to cook up and throw at you and how the meta will evolve. And we're seeing that with the current contingency contract going on right now, because Tsukunogi, who is infamous for being one of the worst operators in the game, is making it into a lot of people's clears simply because of her ability to reveal invisible enemies. So this idea that meta is super important and that you need to be worried about wasting resources, by and large, it does not matter in this game. And a lot of players coming from other gacha games make these kind of assumptions. They're conditioned to think this way, and it'll oftentimes limit people's creativity and ability to even be able to use the characters they want. And in a lot of cases, they might have convinced themselves that these higher rated on a tier list operators are helping them out, but they could be forcing them into their squad where they aren't really helping them as much as they think they are. And so yeah, it's very valuable to be able to understand what the numbers actually mean on like a nuanced level. And I don't have enough operators in a newbie account to really go over that too much, but I will do a in-depth video one of these days on all of this stuff to look for and what it means and how to test ops. But I'll use my endgame account for that, and I will call it here for the night. Alright, goodbye.